everybody. Welcome to Hall of Flowers. Our conversation today is actually about the power of transformational storytelling to help to transform justice in cannabis. And we are going to bring up Luke Scarmazzo. You guys, yeah, definitely give him a round of applause from Profit Brands. And we're going to talk story because story is very powerful. But before we get into it, I do something to help ground everybody down. It's called a breath check. Ooh. So wherever you are right now, take a moment, close your eyes, ground down. If you're someone that needs energy, wants to receive energy for the universe, put your hands facing upwards. If you want to keep the energy for yourself and you're like, this is really stimulating, put your hands down. Okay, we're gonna take 3 deep breaths in together. Breathe in through your nose. Hold, breathe out. Breathe in through your nose, all the way into your solar plexus, and breathe out. One more deep breath, this time into your gut, breathing in. Hold it, 4, 3, 2, 1, and breathe out. All right, shake it out, come back into the world. Thank you for doing that with us.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we stand up? We just need to get some energy going. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Man, that was good. I like that right there.
Yeah?
That was good. Like, I was like, my energy level, like, before I get a mic in my hand.
Yeah.
It usually, I get like the butterflies before I go on stage. I don't care if I've done it 100 million times.
Totally.
I still do it. So like when you come up here to be able to breathe like that and kind of get your breath under control is really cool. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And I know, I feel you. That nervousness beforehand, that means you care.
Right.
So we care enough.
Right.
Totally. I texted a friend earlier. I was like, I'm nervous. So, okay, storytelling, right? Storytelling is what drives everything, right? These are like the books, the myths, the legends. Like it's what grounds our industry. It's what has brought California cannabis all across the world is like the narrative of that. And as we move along on this journey to legalize cannabis, to like move in these more regulated spheres of cannabis, like the story of cannabis starts to get a little bit altered. It comes away from the plant and all of a sudden it's about the brands. All of a sudden it's about the money. All of a sudden it's about all these other things. And to be fair, I mean, money was a way that like kept us all alive like the like the previous iteration of it. And like we're trying to get back to a good homeostasis with that right now, to be honest. Love you too, Spenta. So I want to talk to you, one, about what type of storyteller you are.
Right.
Right? You've moved through multiple mediums of storytelling.
Yes.
Right? So you have done hip-hop music.
Yes.
You have written a book.
Yes.
And you have created a brand.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So we're going to focus on those 3 modes of storytelling for you.
Awesome.
So for you, with music, right? And
right.
the story that you were telling with your music, because that was a big part of your story.
Oh, yeah.
You know, of like they used your music in your trial.
Yeah, played my video in my federal trial. One of the only times it's been done.
That's crazy. You guys got to check it out, too. Like, he had a music video that he put out while he was running his dispensary in Modesto.
Yes.
And, tell us about your journey into that mode of storytelling to music. Why was that your chosen form of storytelling?
Music just always resonated with me ever since I was a kid. I can't even really say, like, oh, this is the time I got into music or something like that, right? It was just from the minute I think I could hear and understand music and see my mom playing old records and stuff, music just resonated with me, the vibration of the music and everything. So I naturally gravitated to choir and band and all the different things that, kids do. None of them ever kind of stuck with me, though. I was always kind of more kind of on the outskirts, kind of rebellious type kid, right? So, the practice, 5 times a week, a certain hours scheduling, it just didn't fit like the type of kid I was, right? So hip hop music was like my way of expressing myself in music, but doing it in the way that I was living, right? So now I was able to kind of tell my story and express myself musically, but do it authentically. And I think that's really what brands, and I really think that's what storytelling's about, right? It's about authenticity.
Right.
And if you have, like, people can tell. I don't know, like, let's keep it real. Like, when somebody walks up to you and they're full of shit, you can tell. Like, right away. It's almost like an energy thing, like, immediately, right?
Right.
And so authenticity resonates with people.
Right.
So when your brand is authentic, or when your story is authentic, or your music is authentic, right? It immediately feels something. It strikes a chord.
And it was so authentic that, like, when the feds left your building, they also spray painted "Who's fucked now?"
Who's fucked now? Yeah.
So that was like a line in he said "fuck the feds."
Yeah.
in his song, and it was so authentic though
and now we pay the feds taxes. So hey,
it's crazy.
We love the feds as long as you just like respect our laws. California law and cannabis laws,
which is leave us alone.
And respect state sovereignty. And then pretty soon, but like, listen, respect to the feds in the sense that they've come a long way too. When Ricardo and I, my co-defendant and co-founder, is sitting in the front row right here. Not many people get to say that. Let me say it again. My co-defendant and co-founder is sitting in the front row right here. So
that's a big deal.
Yeah, no, that's huge. It's huge. He was one of the first Mexican-American dispensary owners in the country.
Right.
Not in Modesto or not in the country.
Right, and that was in 2004.
2004, yeah. 2006, we got raided by the DEA, for those that don't know our story. And, we had to fight for justice for the next 15 years. I just got out of prison last year, and we launched the brand Profit. And the tagline of Profit is wisdom of the past, vision for the future.
Right.
And the reason why is because it's about storytelling.
Right.
It's about legacy knowledge and using the legacy knowledge that we've had for decades and generations and bringing it to the market today and saying, hey, look, it works.
Right.
It still works.
Right. We don't need all like no shade to like headset and all that stuff, but like we don't need all that data analytics on the back end for us to know who we actually sell our weed to. Like, but it's cool, I guess, that other people that have, that do need that.
Right.
Have that mode of storytelling to be able to tell it, but we don't need it because the legacy wise, we've been there. We're with the people.
Right.
We know what it is. So while you were in lockup, was that when you started writing your book?
Yeah. My book. Like, I always wanted to tell the story. Like, as soon as I got put in federal prison, like, with a 22-year sentence, I knew, like, I'm like, yo, this is super unjust. I got to be able to tell this story because it was kind of quiet. Right. I mean, we made some noise with news and stuff like that, but the country didn't know what was going on in California. They didn't know that legal dispensary operators and legal cultivators were getting decade-long sentences in the federal system. That is still happening right now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday. There is still people in federal prison right now as we do Hall of Flowers.
Right.
Shout out to Edwin Rubiz, who's in federal prison right now. Shout out to Corvain Cooper. Right. I want to make sure that part isn't forgotten, Nina.
Evelyn LaChapelle too.
Evelyn LaChapelle, she did she was sentenced to 87 months.
87 months, 5 years away from her child. Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, I know in California we can get the mindset that, hey, everything's legal now, everything's cool, we're doing these huge events. But listen, man, we really cannot forget the people that paved the road to be able to have these events. Right. Those people are still sitting in federal prison, and I'm going to keep shouting their name until they're out.
As you should too. Yeah. And that just goes for like everybody that's in here too, is like the story is not done. Like you were saying, everyone thinks that it's legal. We are still far from it. Like, if you look at your taxes that you're being charged, like, this is far from legal. It's very, very regulated. Right. So we're still in a space where we're like legal, but legal for who? Who gets to participate?
Right.
Who gets to continue to be able to create a brand in cannabis, to tell their story in order to be able to get economically fit and viable again. Right.
So tell it real quick, just how I wrote the story was.
Please.
I got caught smoking weed in prison, and they put me in what's called the SHU. The SHU is an acronym. It stands for SHU, and it stands for Secure Housing Unit. And what it is, it's basically solitary confinement. They put you in in a box and there's no other people there, and your trays come through a metal slot, and you don't have human contact, and you go to a dog kennel to go get your rec once an hour a day. So it is one of the most inhumane like forms of captivity that we have, right? And I got put there for smoking weed. So now I'm sitting in there and I'm like, I don't got shit to do in here. Like, I'm reading books. I'm trying to read as many books as I can, but you can only get so many books in there. And after a while, I like ran out of things to do. And then what I had to do, I thought about it. I said, you know what? I want to write this story. It's called High Price, the Luke Scarmazzo story. You can get it on Amazon. That's my kind of plug right there.
Go ahead.
But I was forced to write it out of necessity. So I said, I'm going to write 4 pages a day. And the reason I wrote 4 pages a day is because that's the only amount of paper that you got per week. So now I had to wheel and deal and be able to like talk to the orderly and ask for more paper and trade my dinner trays and all this craziness, right?
How many pages is your book?
396.
Damn.
It's a lot of dinner trays. I was in the shoe in that particular instance. I was in the shoe 7 months. So I got most of the book done there, and after a while, I was like, all right, I got something now, but I didn't have anybody to share it with. Like, it's one thing when you have your story, right? But if you don't have anybody to like share it with, you don't know how it's going to resonate or how it's going to hit.
Right.
So I shared it with my cellmate, and he says, oh, wow, this is one of the best books I've ever read. And I'm like, yeah, you're my cellmate. Of course you're going to say that. Like, you got to live with me. So I really didn't get validation until I sent the manuscript out, which was a process. And then
I bet.
A journalist named Angela Baca, shout out. She's also my editor now. Shout out, man. Angela's a monster. She's so good at what she does. But yeah, she read it and she says, no, this has to go. This story has to be told. And from there, it's been a wild ride, and it's the story. Yeah. It is the story.
Right, of like how you, started in cannabis, right? Also forging your business relationships, right? And then what the consequences were for you, like considering what the landscape is. And then now that you're out, right? It's been about, what, a year and...
Yeah, February of 23, so last February.
Damn, since last February. So like a year and like a few months.
Yeah.
Right? Since then, what have you done with your story since then?
Wow.
Yeah.
How much time do we have?
I mean, we have like 10. We got like 10
really,
minutes left.
The story is being made into a movie by a company called Filmopoly. Shout out to Richie Hill for believing in it. He actually picked it up while it was in prison.
Okay.
While I was in prison, while it was still in manuscript stage, he saw the light in it too, saw what we had there and said, hey, this story. He was an old grower back in the 90s and said, hey, I remember what it was like in the 215 era. I want this story told too. So it's going to be a movie soon. We're doing events. We've done the whole legacy tour, all up and down the state, from Cali Roots to Cali Vibes to Cali everything else. And yeah, we're just trying to like constantly tell the story, because I'm going to keep it real now.
Please do.
I'm going to keep it 100.
If
there's any brand owners out here, this is it. So there's thousands of brands in California. Thousands of them. Back in the day, you had to know the wizards that grew the fire. You don't have to know the wizards that grow the fire anymore. There's plenty of people who grow top-end cannabis. So now, what sets your brand apart from the other 1,000 brands that are on the shelf? So we got our brand in PCF, right? Shout out to Bert over in PCF. There's 2,000 brands in that store, right?
Right.
So how does profit stand out in the midst of 2,000 brands?
That's the question.
That's the $1 million question, right?
I mean, for any brand owner, really, it's like, yeah.
For any brand owner.
Right.
Here's the answer. It's the story. It literally is the story. Like now at Profit, it's a triangle, right? We have the story. We have the price point, and then we have the quality of product.
Oh, that's
if
game.
you have that,
that's great.
If you have that trifecta, you will win every single time.
Right.
You see my chief commercial officer just like grabbing her head right now, saying, "Why
like,
is he saying this right now? Shut up." But listen, this is what I do. I give game because I want everybody to elevate in this industry. This is what the industry used to be like. We would walk into a dispensary and there would be everybody there. All walks of life, literally. And it elevated the entire community. That's what Profit is trying to do now. We're trying to bring that back.
Right. And that's why you're with us at the Legacy Market.
Yes, that's why.
I want you to also share with us the story of your experience with the Legacy Market from the California State Fair, right?
Wow.
It's like there were some full circles for your story during that time period. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, get that good hydration.
I gotta take a drink for that.
Yeah.
The State Fair was crazy on so many levels. Like, one is like 60 miles down the road, my co-defendant and I were literally raided by the DEA and put in prison for the same thing we were doing at the State Fair last month.
Right.
Last month.
Right.
So, like, try walking into a situation with that in your mind. Like, literally 60 miles down the road from the State Fair, my co-defendant and I were raided by the DEA on September 27, 2006, and we spent 15 years in prison. And now, a year later, I'm standing there with the stamp of California, sanctioned by the state, to be able to sell cannabis to state fairgoers.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, that part was, like, almost hard to digest, right?
Right.
But then, like, the whole fact that we were there in the Legacy booth, right? And we've been told time and time again, you have to corporatize and you have to follow what Red Bull does and you have to do this marketing things and these things that work in these other sectors, right? But what we're learning now is, like, really, again, the triangle, right? The legacy, the quality, the price point, right? And if you meet the customer there, I mean, the Legacy Market was booming there.
It was booming.
It was booming there. And it was a testament not only to the triangle, but also to, like, the quality of the product that was sitting there.
The product and the people.
The product and the people, man. And the more and more that you give legacy operators the opportunity to shine with a level playing field now. It has to be a level playing field, because if it's not, it doesn't matter then. Right? But if you give them the opportunity to shine, there's a reason that they are legacy. There's a reason that they have been slam dunking this ball for 20 years.
That's right.
Straight up.
Yeah, and we going to continue to be here.
Right.
So we started in legacy, and we're going to continue to create legacy. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Through our story, through the people.
Yes.
And through the price point. Can't forget that. Hold on. We have about 5 more minutes left. Is that correct? Yeah? Okay.
Good.
We want to maybe open the floor to some questions before we hop off. Anybody have any questions for Luke?
Anyone? Bueller? No. What's up, brother? Okay.
Wait, you want to?
Hold on, yeah, let's get you a mic.
How you doing? I'm from the East Coast.
How you doing?
What's good, my man? Profit?
Yes, sir.
I like that. Anyway, I'm not familiar with your story, so the snippet, like the Cliff Note version.
Okay.
Right? Can I get that right now?
Cliff
please?
Note version, absolutely. So, in 2004, my co-defendant, Ricardo Montez, and I, who's right there, we opened one of the early dispensaries in Modesto. We operated it successfully for 2 years, and then the feds came in and raided us. We fought, went to trial, took it to trial, and lost because the feds don't give you any defense. We can't say we were doing it by state law. We couldn't use our medicinal reasons. We couldn't use anything. It doesn't matter. So we got 22 years in prison. We had to fight for justice ourselves. This was before there was any cannabis organizations. There was no anything. There wasn't brands. There was no cookies. There was no Connected. There was no Hall of Flowers. None of this stuff existed at that time. There was just legacy operators getting good quality cannabis to medicinal patients. That was it. And unfortunately, the feds didn't like that. And they try to hammer us down. They try to really cap the story at that. They try to end the story at that. But a testament to what this industry is, the operators and cultivators that continue to push on, even under the threat of federal incarceration, grew this industry and this thing to what it is now, right? So last year, my co-defendant and I got out of prison last year. Obama released him a little bit earlier. Appreciate that. Yep. And immediately we said, hey, look, we got to get back into the industry. We want to launch the brand Profit, and Profit is about reaching back to make sure the legacy operators and the people who have been incarcerated for our plant continue to be remembered, continue to be pushed forward, and we continue to get good product to the people at a good price, Ron. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes.
Yes. I love the tattoos. The tattoos look awesome.
My name is Adina Flores. I'm actually the leading activist in this county, so I help quite a bit to try to get actual equity for the cannabis industry.
Hell
so
yeah.
my issue right now is our equity grants. It's all over the paper. The people who received it were primarily wealthy white men.
Yes.
There were hardly any people of color, so that was really upsetting. So how do we make sure that these equity programs are legitimate?
So, okay. That's a very good question. Here, you want to give me the thing back? So, again, it's about collectivizing and being able to organize story and being able to, to organize the people to use the process. So this is what I mean. I was one of the activists to help create the first equity program in Oakland, California through my organization, Supernova Women. With Amber
Hold
Center.
on, pause for that right there. Did you hear that? One of the first activists to create the equity program in Oakland.
Yep, which is the first equity program in the country.
Yes.
The only way we got any traction is because we showed up in their office every day and we're like, there's no business as usual until you fucking listen to us. There's nothing that they're not going to make us any solutions. They're not going to move unless we tell them to move. And you have to be relentless and you have to be ruthless on it. Being like, we need healing in our community and you guys are still hurting us. And this is how the pain is showing up. And you bring the stories of that pain to them, to their front door every day. That's the only way.
Yeah.
Because they will not fix it for us.
That's great advice. That's great advice. And
well, talk to us because we will continue. We have some folks out here that need the grants.
Definitely
and they're getting fucked over.
Yeah, connect with us.
Yeah.
And my message will be more to like the administrators and say this, because you're 100% right, is if you don't involve the people who are directly affected by the programs you create, they are going to fail.
Right.
Because if you don't involve the stakeholders that are involved in the cannabis industry, the people who have been incarcerated, the social equity applicants involved in the creation of the program, we will actually, I know this is rocket science, but we will actually tell you what works. And we will show you how to implement a program that actually is effective, right? That actually has impact to the people who need it. Otherwise, you have a situation where it's just people in certain zip codes or rich white guys come in and co-opt a bunch of different licenses, and everybody else waits on the corner while they have $1 million head start on you. And
it, like, in all honesty as well, it's like it's not just the people that are affected, but it's also finding the correct allies, right? And being able to come in unison. Right? Because other than that, then they will utilize divide and conquer strategies and be like, well, this person says this and this person says that, and then they're going to just pin us against each other because that's a common strategy that they
just
love
like
to
they
do,
did with legalization here.
So, like, the best thing is, like, to get, like, 30-plus people on the same messaging and in their face.
Yes. Okay. 100.
I know. Yes, you were there.
Flood them.
All right, y'all. If you guys don't have any other questions, we're gonna take 3 more deep breaths together, and then we're gonna close it out. Does that sound good?
I got one thing. I just wanted thing before we
totally.
close out. I just wanted to say shout out to Freedom Grow, shout out to Mission Green, shout out to Last Prisoner Project, shout out to all of the organizations that fight for the people who are incarcerated, Beer Bros, everybody, because we are all in this together. Our mission is the same. Free the people who are incarcerated for cannabis. I won't stop saying that until we are done. Plus, go to booth 3B303. We got $10 Fire Indoor Ace. Holler.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Edwin Ruby stage. Please, thank you so much, Luna. Do not forget to go by the Edwin Ruby stage. Take a picture, post about it, share it with your network, comment on the other ones, share it. We need to get my boy out. He's serving 40 years, man. Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you, guys. All right. One more time. Close your eyes. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths in together. Ready? Breathe in through your nose. And exhale. Breathe in. This time, just let it out and have an auditory exhale. Good. One more deep breath. Breathe in. And breathe out. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your Hall of Flowers, everybody. Swami, I see you back there, big dog.